And joining me now to discuss this more, Professor Seydat Aybar, who is the head of the Economy and Finance Department at Istanbul's Aydin University. Thank you for being here. And Agnes Gitau, who is the Managing Director at the London-based consultancy firm GBS Africa. Okay, we're going to start with you first of all, Seydat. This is such an interesting topic. Africa is not one of Turkey's top 10 trading partners, so why is it so important that Turkey expands its business reach into Africa?
That's true. Africa is not Turkey's one of the top trading partners. That's true, but Turkey's involvement in Africa, it goes beyond economic concerns. There's a mixture of motivations that Turkey is directing its attention to Africa. Mm-hmm. Some of these are cultural. Some of these are economic motivations, and others are concerning geopolitics. So when you look at Turkey's trade relations with Africa, actually that relationship is growing sixfold when you compare it to other regions. Basically, President Erdogan, when he was talking at the second Africa-Turkey summit, he mentioned this: Turkey is going to walk together with Africa as a new world order being established. So basically, win-win situation concerns some of the humanitarian side of finding solutions to problems that Africa is facing with regards to development. So basically, finding African solutions for African problems is becoming Turkey's complementary to its economic development and its claims over natural resources that Africa is prepared to offer. Mm-hmm. Turkey needs that for its growing industrial base, but also security-wise, now Turkish national security goes beyond Turkey's borders.
Agnes, I just want to elaborate on one point that Seydat raised there, and that's this win-win idea. The EU, US, China have all been criticised for some of their trade practices in Africa. What does Turkey have to do differently so that it doesn't face that same sort of criticism?
It has to be Africa-led. Businesses, particularly the private sector, led by the, encouraged by the policy in the country, must always realize what are the priorities, what does Africa need, and then align their services and products based on that. And that, for me, is very profitable, not only for the Africans, but also for the Turkish businesses. But suddenly, Africa's market is open. We have a population of 1.2 billion people. We've opened up our borders, so providing bigger market, bigger economies for Turkish businesses.
Well, because we do see that there is the political will, but some business leaders are cautious. So how can Africa alleviate that so that they can encourage more business? What do they need to do?
So we're building institutions. We are ensuring that we are building capacity within our legal and regulatory framework. We are coming up with incentives to encourage. I've seen governments from Cape Town to Cairo to Nairobi to Timbuktu, all of them coming with incentives, really trying to encourage economic investment. And again, I think what is most interesting for Turkish business to realize that African corporates are investing in our market. We have confidence in our market, and I think that should really encourage businesses out here to do more with African business. And also that Turkey is taking the right step, really. Everybody, and as Seydat says, that when the president said about working with Africa, I think there's a new world order forming, and Africa has a seat on that table. And it's not the next frontier, it is the frontier. And look at the uncertainty in the global markets today. Look at Brexit, for example.
Now, Seydat, let me ask you this. China, the European Union, they are already Africa's largest trading partners. They're not going to want to lose business. How suspicious are they? How cautious are they of Turkey's new interest in Africa? And are they going to try and convince African businesses not to do business with Turkey?
Positive development within the continent, it embodies in itself some kind of risks that comes together with it. And this is what we are witnessing now. Turkey is coming into the continent with this humanitarian discourse, and with we are not going to accept to be, when President Erdogan is telling this at the first business summit in Istanbul in 2016, that we are not going to accept to be wretched of the earth, but he means we are going to develop these relationship, the business relationship together with the Africans, and we are going to explore our complementarities in industry, in our production and consumption chain.
There seems to be a lot of goodwill already towards Turkey in Africa. Agnes, why does Turkish business have such a good reputation?
I think what they did in Somalia, already everybody looked at that because they went to a country that really needed a friend, you know, during there was war and starvation. So I think that decision to go there was very strategic, and I think led by really that sincere approach by the administration here into its relations with Africa, but also that they invest, or their businesses are purely building capacity. They invested heavily in education, like in Senegal and other countries, value addition, investing in agriculture, which is core to African market, but also ensuring that they employ local workforce. You know, there's huge human capital in Africa. Turkish businesses don't bring their own expatriates, you know, so they employ, so they're creating employment, which is really needed in Africa. They're adding value to our products, and I think that for me is quite interesting, and why I think Turkey's relationship with Africa is sustainable. It's just because the approach is slightly different, and I think, I mean, commenting to what I said earlier, I think they've learned. They see what works, what didn't work, and I think they're being innovative in creating new relationship, and again, based in that famous quote, win-win relationship.
Well, there is certainly a lot of room to grow. Professor Seydat Aybar and Agnes Gitau from GBS Africa, it's been lovely having you both here on Straight Talk.